man can see they in a full red and white or something. Red. Usually the top, not the red one. Yeah, can see them in the full white actually.
I'll put on the skins.
Hey,
I'll put on the skins with
you
it.
could have put more in a
I'll put on the skins
no,
with that.
full black skin.
Full black skins. What about the next team? Come on, that's what we are talking about.
So you ask Portmore if it change. And one of them are going to change your white.
Alright.
Yeah, that makes sense?
Huh?
That can't make no sense, man. Brown. That can't make no sense. Gordon. Forbes. Same time. Blue, it's supposed to be 90 yellow. Oh, hey, easy, you're not referee. The shirt's end color, not the shirt. Dominant color of the shirt. Come Portmore, ready? Come now, ready.
I beg me if I try beg so.
General, we can't go without you, you know. This side is a competition. And it could have
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the late start. I'm your commentator for today, John Stewart. And of course, this is the second match day, today on Ash Wednesday, of the KFC Under-18 Elite League. Of course, following last year's edition, this is the 2026 version and promises to be an exciting one yet again. Went off to a great start last week, Saturday. A number of goals, some drama, some mistakes, but also some moments of pure magic from these youngsters. And of course, as always, we're looking for the next big thing from this tournament. We've already seen several stars go on to become regulars in the Jamaican Premier League from this very competition, and that's what it's all about really. Not necessarily playing in the Jamaican Premier League, but having a platform to express yourself in the realm of professional football, which is, of course, the aim of every single player that, that will originate from this competition. Of course, key example being the likes of Jamari Nolan, who didn't go the JPL route, instead actually got a contract to a tier 2 team in America. So just shows there's more than one way to go, but nonetheless the goal will always be to make it in the realms of professional football and to continue their development. More on that later, but for now we turn our attention to the first game of the day between Portmore United and Harbour. A contrast in fortunes for both teams as Harbour started their campaign 2-0 winners against Montego Bay United, goals coming courtesy of Sean Byfield as as well as a goal for Kajay Fletcher in the second half, whereas Portmore United succumbed to a 3-2 or a 4-2, I should say, 4-2 loss to Mount Pleasant. It was a stern test for Portmore United, to say the least, but I have a feeling that they'll show a bit more resolve today. They played well in spurts last week, but we're always going to be up against it, coming up against last year's reigning champions. But here we have the game underway for you. Of course, the lineups read Gian Singh in goal for Harbourview, Jashawn Edwards, Shannon Power, Tristan Bethune, Jelani Harvey, Stephen John Beckford, Peyton Larmond, Kajay Fletcher, of course, goal scorer from last week, as well as Deshaun Byfield, former goal scorer as well, Renard Garrison, and Zaire Dowse. For Portmore United, however, we have Sheldon York, Chicon Brown, Nevar Anderson. As Angels about to get a cross in here, but that's cleared away. Continuing the lineups, we have Prince Lewis, Tashane Edwards, Sean Dunn, Aaron McKnight, Orlando Angel, who scored last week, Doreen Hall, Anthony Heron, and Tashawn Reyna. Edwards looking long for Gutsmore. Now is Harvey on the ball. Beckford replacing Zaire in terms of jersey number. He had the 8 last year, if you can remember. And Dowse had the 10. But still playing similar roles, with, of course, Dowse functioning more as a number 8 than Beckford. I feel like Beckford had more license to make those runs into the box, but Zaire's creativity was unmatched throughout the competition. Arguably the best creator. Those line-splitting passes, whether it be the diagonals or just those amazing long passes over the top with accuracy and with power to find players like from last year, like Tyreek Robinson, who unfortunately won't be playing much this year, if he even does play. Recently got a scholarship to go overseas to play, but nevertheless, Harbourview still have some special talents on show for us to enjoy today. And here they get the ball back in the middle of the park. Beckford, loose touch, but gets it to Fletcher, trying to play it one time into the path of Gutsmore, but that's dealt well with there by Portmore. But no, it's not. It's Fletcher, and it looks like it's going to be just wide, and some miscommunication there in the back line for Portmore United. I thought initially that Sheldon York did well to come out and get to that, but the back line from Portmore almost with an costly error there. None of the defenders could deal with it, and almost Fletcher getting his second of the tournament. Of course, as previously mentioned, scored last week. Portmore United under a lot of pressure here early on, trying to play out from the back. Brown gets it out wide, and now they're trying to find on that left-hand side Anthony Heron, but unable to. And Harbourview have a throw-in. And already, just in the opening moments of the game, seems Asani Gutsmore has gone down here. And Jacon Brown just stern, firm leadership at the back, and he's instructing his teammates, of course, most likely chastising them about what could have been a very costly mistake to start the game. And to be fair, I don't think they have a bad defense. Of course, it was only the first game, but judging based on how they played last week, I thought that predominantly those 4 goals were really just well worked plays from Mount Pleasant, not necessarily poor defending, especially the goals that were scored by Samuel Taylor. He was just on fire, and when a player's on that sort of form, there's really nothing you can do. But I have to say, obviously, the first goal was, of course, a penalty, and that could have been prevented. And the last goal, perhaps, could have done a bit better with that ball over the top. Should have dealt with that a bit better. But nevertheless, overall, I thought their defense was valiant last week against last year's reigning champions. Edwards trying to find his man there, Garrison, but that's cut out. Portmore United just moving it around the back now with Lewis. Back to his goalkeeper, York. Coach just instructing them to speed up the play, and seems they're trying to heed those instructions. McKnight clears it downfield, looking for Angel. Cuts back brilliantly as a sighter, and that's saved expertly there from Singh in goal. It looked like it was always going to really curl wide, but still, nevertheless, he thought it was best to at least get some sort of hand to it just to prevent the possibility of a goal, and he's done just that, and it will be a corner kick, the first corner kick of the game, and it will go the way of Portmore United, who could open the scoring here. Oh, love the delivery as well towards the back post, but seems the referees seeing that it went actually behind the goal before coming back in. The outswinger there. And Singh will spot this one. Could be opting to go long. Referee judges that to have been taken a bit too quickly for his liking. As I mentioned before, Portmore United lost 4-2 last week against Mount Pleasant, but considering they were 3-1 down and got back a goal to 3-2, they could really have made a run at things in terms of trying to get a point from that game. They did actually pile some pressure on towards the end of it, but were unable to sustain it, and Mount Pleasant eventually emerged victorious. I spoke to their coach after the game, and he said that despite the fight that, maybe I would have seen or others would have seen in terms of trying to get back into the game, he was disappointed in contrast to how I guess the majority of people would have seen that game. He said that there was a lot more to come from his team, and I guess that remains to be seen whether or not that will be manifested today. And again, some miscommunication between Jaquan Brown and his goalkeeper. What this time, Harbourview couldn't get the ball back, and Harvey will boot that, trying to find Beckford, who tries to feed Larman, who played in the Jamaican Premier League earlier this season. Has actually been getting some decent amount of game time considering his age and stage, and he's just one of the many players who played last year in the Elite Cup that has gone on to be a regular fixture in Jamaican Premier League, and if not a regular fixture, at least made an appearance. One of the better players in his position. You can see him functioning in that 10 role, but he's also equally adept out wide. Tidy young player, a leader as well. Of course, he didn't start out as the captain. That was Zaire Dawes, but due to some disciplinary issues, Larman was eventually made captain, and have to say, much deserved. Who still has the ball here? Had to go, but blocked pretty well there by Harbourview. Portmore United settling into this game a bit better than they did in the first one last week. Their coach, of course, though, Ricardo Smith, still a bit upset about their positional play. Orlando Angel not able to control that one as well as he'd want to. Here's York. Oh, and that's another poor clearance. His distribution's been really subpar so far, but Sean Dunn does really well there to boot that clear. But that's dealt with calmly there. Balling towards Gutsmore, but that's cleared by Brown. Actually made contact there with his shoulder. Interesting choice of pass. Unable to find a teammate with it though. And that will be a throw in to Portmore United, who have settled in well here, moving the ball a bit better than they did in their first game, but they'll need to, of course, be a bit clinical in the final third, at least more clinical than they were in that first game. But however, they did score 2 goals against the best team defensively last year, Mount Pleasant. So that does bode well for them. Lewis trying to find Angel, and he does, but Jelani Harvey does well with that. And seems Angel slipped as well. Fletcher, lovely dummy by Larmond into the path of Gutsmore, but unable to find him. There's Anderson. Has Edwards, and eventually uses him at the instruction of his coach. And Edwards almost loses it, but Anderson sweeps up for him. And Bethune heads it to Larmond, who was looking for the foul and eventually got it. Of course, based on the results from last week, as you can probably surmise, Mount Pleasant are first on 3 points, as well as Kingston Football Academy, who will play in the next game against Montego Bay United. Third is currently, of course, Harbour View, who beat Montego Bay United last week 2-0. Harbour View could extend their points tally, add to it here, move temporarily at least to first place with a victory here against Portmore, or even a draw. But that remains to be seen, of course. Portmore United proving to be a stern test of their resolve thus far. And Harvey gets that. But it seems that will be a fall through, and that will be going the other way to Portmore United. Not the type of error you'd like to see at this level. Nevertheless, play is resumed by Anderson to York. And the referee just taking some time out to talk to Beckford there, instructing him about his temperament. And now play can resume with Anderson, who's, by the looks of it, going to be booting this long. Perhaps trying to find Angel downfield or Hall. Orlando Angel, despite playing in the midfield role, has bombed forward a lot over the course of this game as well as last game. And of course, that's how he got his goal last week. Surged forward and a pretty emphatic finish past Marco Dean Spence in goal. And Zaire Dowse does well to skip away from his man there. Had a lovely assist last week, of course, Dowse. And as I mentioned before, arguably the best creator in this competition. And he'll be looking to prove that again this year, I should say. Angel unable to get on that one, and now he's Beckford, another tidy young player, one of my favorites from last year. And here's Beckford again. Harbour View just taking some time for the first time really in this game to just control the pace of the game. And Prince Louis will deal quite easily with that. And there's Anthony Heron to Dunn. Oh, lovely pass by Dunton in the path of Heron. He has Angel in the box with him. Beats, well, tried to beat Dowse, but wasn't able to. Here's Dowse. Ball beats him. Couldn't judge the flight of it there, but Harborview retained possession. Power gets it out wide. Second time of asking, only as far as Dunn. And now Portmore United can surge clear with Dunn, who's moving from his usual position of defensive midfield. He's just dictating the play here. But his pass is blocked by Lorman, and that will be a throw into Portmore United. Neither team really able to get a foothold in this one so far. Not a lot of chances to speak of outside of that shot that went narrowly wide from Kajay Fletcher, who will want that one back. The goalkeeper was out of his goal after that error between him and Jaquan Brown, but he couldn't quite tap it home into the empty net. But Portmore United on the attack, trying to find Angel again, and he's gone down, and the referee says no penalty. Seemed to have been a shove in the back, but referee says no foul, and Gutsmore has been pretty much all alone up front in this one. What they could do with a strike of Tyreek Robinson's class this year, but unfortunately he won't be available. But here's Harvey. Fletcher, goal scorer from last week, of course, as I mentioned before. Out wide to Edwards, the under-17 national representative, looking long for Gutsmore, who could not quite make the connection with his head there, and it's done out wide to Terrain Hall. Been rather quiet, the number 10, and given the jersey number that he's donning, expect big things from this young man, but pulled a disappearing act last week. We'll be hoping that he makes the sort of impact that his team will be wanting this time. There's Dowse. Lovely pass between the lines for Beckford. Spins, looking for Gutsmore. Has a crack from goal! What a save by Sheldon York. First real chance at goal so far this game. At least on target. And it's produced a wonderful effort and a great save. That shot had some venom behind it. And York had to be at his best there, outstretched, to keep that one out. Harborview now just beginning to spring to life, and of course ignited there by that wonderful pass between the lines there from Zaire Dowse. We've already spoken so highly of his creativity based on what we've seen from him at the schoolboy level as well as the Elite Cup last year, and he could be a player to look out for in upcoming years in professional football. But Larman's cross, not able to be the first man, and that will be another set piece to Harborview. Not sure why, despite the fact that the field is so big and this is a pretty respectable competition, that there are no ball boys. That would make it a whole lot easier for the balls to be retrieved and for there to be enough for the game. But nevertheless, Larman to retake the set piece. This time a better delivery and almost caught by York, but seems it has not taken a touch on anyone before going all the way through for a goal kick. And I have to say my apologies to Tajay Gordon from last week. Of course, he was on the bench. I pronounced his name as Taja many times throughout the last week's game against Mount Pleasant. Must say my apologies, young man. The handwriting on the match card was that of a doctor. So that will be my apologies to you, sir. And that's taken away there beautifully, and Harborview deservedly so get that free kick after Beckford did well to skip away from his number 10 counterpart there. Beckford. Just waiting to see who he has available, looking towards the box actually it seems, but he has quite a few options. Larman just hovering around the box, and that one will go harmlessly through all the way to York in goal. Rolls it out now for his defender Anderson. Anderson looking long early, trying to find his teammate downfield to Sean Rayner, but that will go all the way through, and Shannon Powell will just go over to collect. Now here's Dowse back to Powell, trying to find the Larman, but Dunn does well there. The young man calm under pressure and using his physicality to win the ball back. Somewhat reminiscent in terms of his play style to Malik White from last year, who's traditionally really a defender but was playing midfield last year for Cavalier. Of course, he's a bit taller than Malik. And his Angel almost getting to that one unexpectedly. But that's cleared by the number 20 Tristan Bethune, who a newcomer to this team, but here's Dunn again. Lays it off and shot from distance, but that's deflected and it's taken all the power out of that one. Angel's shot not really able to have the sort of power he'd want on it. I have to say, so far in this one, I must say Sean Dunn has stood out to me in the middle of the park. His height, his physicality, his ability to stay calm on the ball, under pressure, and his press off of it has really caught the eye. Lovely touch by Angel, but the return pass from the number 19 Edwards there, not the greatest, and Harborview can collect that. Kajay Fletcher loses the ball in a bad area. Oh, lovely turn. Rayner crossed in, but that is met by Power, and it's cleared to Larman, who tries to feed Fletcher out wide but unable to, and Dunn. Ooh, lovely ball over the top there, but it's offside before Angel could collect. Rayner and Angel trying to benefit off those long passes early from Portmore United. Is Terrain Hall. Shot from distance, but high and wide. Spoken before that he was a bit quiet last week, and it's been quiet so far again this week, but glad to see him taking some initiative, trying to stamp his class on the game there with that long-range effort. And if that had gone in, it would already have been a goal of the season contender. Of course, could most definitely already have one based on what the first week produced. That wonder strike from Samuel Taylor, who, in case you didn't know, is currently the top goal scorer with 2 goals. Of course, it's only the first week, but still, that young man was extremely impressive last week. And it's made even more impressive with the fact that he was not a regular starter last year for Mount Pleasant. Came off the bench in a couple of games, didn't really show too much, but he's grown so much in the course of the last year. And speaking of growth, Stephen Beckford, look at that close control there in tight spaces, ability to beat his man in an area where it seemed impossible. And there's Edwards looking along now for someone that's hit away by Brown. Larman picks up in the middle of the park, spins, turns away from his man and finds his play out wide. That's Power. Beckford back to Power. Beckford gets it again and loses it. to Lewis. And Brown clears downfield for Portmore. And Dose, lovely control there, beats his man. Surging forward now when he's under pressure, and he's fouled there eventually by the number 17 in Portmore United. Beckford, lovely pass out wide. Trying to find Beckford there, but unable to with the return pass. And Portmore United can come clear. Heron. Terrible pass. And Jishon Edwards will go over to collect. Understandably, that comment was a bit harsh, but it's understandable given the context of the game there. There's no need to make that pass at all. He had several teammates to him, beside him, and he opted to play a pass blindly into the path of no one really in particular. And taking a short water break, and scoreline remains at the minute 0-all. Of course, halftime, it's just about 10 minutes or so away. And as we look towards that break, I have to say it's been hard to split the two teams in terms of who I could say has played better. Both teams have struggled really to formulate their attacks. Portmore United have had the better of the possession, but Harbour View have had the best chance of the game by far, really. That effort from Stephen John Beckford after that great pass to find him by Zaire Dawes. But what a save by Sheldon York. Great save, acrobatic effort from the young man in goal.
Pepe, water.
Seems there's a bit of infighting between some of the Portmore United players. Just a bit of frustration, of course. Did lose their first game, so they'll be looking to bounce back here. But the way to doing that will, of course, be with the team being on a united front. Not necessarily with verbal exchanges that are a bit too feisty for my liking. But it seems Heron's just being comforted there by his teammate. And it seems all is well. And play is about to resume now. Some medical attention there was being received by one of the Harbour players. And it seems that we're already going to get a substitution here. Number 6, Malik Wright, will be stepping onto the pitch. And it seems it will be an early exit. And the man making way, I believe, just be Renard Garrison. Which would be unfortunate, rather unfortunate, considering it's his first start of the season. But nevertheless, Malik Wright, a returning player, played last year. He'll be hoping to make sure he can provide some quality to this game, and perhaps even be a match winner of sorts. Ball lifted into the path of Gutsmore, but left it for some reason, and Portmore United can go on the attack. They have been quite shocking, really, in terms of play from the back, and I think a large part of that has to do with their midfielders' positioning. The pressing has been calculated from Harbour View. Fantastic. But every single time that the ball has gone in between the lines for Portmore United into the midfield's feet there, they've not really been in a position where they can receive the ball in space. They've always had their backs turned, and that's made it quite easy for their passes to be picked off. Midfielders, of course, the job is to retain possession for the team and be the connectors between the attack and defense. Your build-up play is never going to be good if your midfielders haven't mastered the fundamentals of your position in terms of scanning. Dose. Oh, lovely ball actually to Larman, but right before Larman could get his shot off, he's judged, I believe, either to have handled the ball or it didn't seem offside. But nevertheless, regardless of the infringement, it is Portmore's ball. Ooh, a poor pass again. And here's Beckford. Not to Larman. And that's deflected. And it will be a corner kick to Harbour United. Harbour FC, rather. Portmore United, as mentioned before, their play has been quite shocking from the back. But they could be made to pay here right before halftime. The delivery comes in and tipped onto the bar, actually, from Sheldon York. Could have ended up very similarly to the goal they conceded last week from Samuel Taylor. But thankfully, York was on hand to prevent that, and seems Edwards is going across to take the throw in, but he leaves it instead for Dose. And that will be a foul on Orlando Angel, who had won the ball back for Portmore United, and just a chance to relieve some pressure for the young men in white and the blue stripes. Anderson clears downfield looking for Angel, but ball goes out of play, and that will be a throw in to Harbour View. Angel spinning and turning and eventually beats Larman. Has no options aside from Reina and couldn't find him. He was swarmed there. Tactically, must say over the last 10 to 15 minutes, Portmore United have been outmatched, outmanned, really. And if Harbour View had that sort of quality in the final third that they displayed in the last game, then they would have scored so far already. Oh, and Reina slips before he could have gotten to it, and seems it was contagious as Angel also slipped, and Harbour View can come clear now with Kache Fletcher. There's Bethune. Edwards, who also won defender of the tournament in the under-17 competition. Oh, lovely pass there from Larman. Gutsmore trying to find Beckford, and Jaquan Brown boots that clear. Looked like it was going out for a throw.
Yo, Fisher, when you talk, use energy. When you talk, when people talk.
And when I say it was one defender of the competition, I wasn't referring to the under-17 national team. I was actually referring to last year's Elite Cup, and he was, for me at least, the defender of competition. You could have made the argument for Earl Dennis from Mount Pleasant or Cavaliers Jordan Redison, but for me, by far and away, he was the best defender. Of course, he does stand out because of his ability on the ball, you know, to be so daring and confident as a defender, but it's his defensive nous first and foremost that makes him spectacular, that makes him must see. He doesn't lose 1v1s often. It's very reminiscent, for those who follow football regularly, of Virgil van Dijk's 2019 season. Didn't really get dribbled past. Edwards didn't show enough awareness there, almost got beaten by the ball, but Singh thankfully was on hand to claim that one, and that will be a easy collection for the young goalkeeper. Bethune out wide to Jelani Harvey. A versatile player. I've seen him playing midfield on a couple of occasions, but he's been playing left back so far this season.
See there? Shooter!
Portmore United won the ball back, but only as far as Kajay Fletcher out wide to Dose. And he leaves the ball for some reason. Actually, due to poor control, and now he's Hall. Gets past one, gets past two. Looking for Reno, who takes his man out wide. Leaves it. Oh, lovely turn there. And Portmore United trying to make headway into the final third of their opponents, unable to. The ball over the top, looking for Beckford, but that's cleared expertly by York. And there's Hall. Controls it the second time of asking. Eventually uses Edwards. And McKnight gets it back to Hall, trying to find Angel, but his first touch let him down on that occasion. And Harbourview reclaim position, and they'll have a goal kick. Portmore United has a common occurrence so far in the proceedings, unable to find that deadlock, unable to find that final pass really to ignite their attack in this game. Haven't had many clear-cut chances, if any, aside from that one save they produced from Jan Singh, which may or may not have been on target anyway. Bulk of the chances really, which have been far and few between both teams, have come for Harbourview, and a slip here. But unfortunately, Reina couldn't control that, and Portmore United could not capitalize on that error there from Singh, who was just rubbing his feet, as if to say it's Grown's fault. Now Edwards will go over to take this throw in, of course, as mentioned before, approaching half-time. Whistle should be blowing any minute now, but before that, Brown will clear. And that may be the most needless corner kick we'll see given away all day. He had time, he had space, and decided to boot it towards his own corner flag, and that will be a corner kick to Harbourview in what could be the last meaningful action of the game, and they could get a goal here on the stroke of half-time. Gets down the line, but tried to bulldoze his way through his man there, Shannon Power. Didn't have the, ironically, power enough to get past his man there. And that will be a goal kick to Portmore United. And again, Portmore United are almost giving the ball away there. Actually, twice. They have been subpar at best in terms of playing out from the back. They're going to have to find a way to go more direct until they can become a bit more comfortable on the ball. But there's Edwards to McKnight, trying to find Dunn, unable to. Now here's Fletcher, finds Gutsmore through, turns, and that's a lovely tackle from Edwards. Edwards clears downfield, looking for Angel. And he's battling there with Harvey and does well, and gets around him, the young diminutive midfielder. And after some turns, almost slips to the ground. But Bethune dealt well with the danger there, and Larman and Fletcher can clear now for Harbourview, and now here's Dowse on the ball. Has Power out wide, opts not to use him. Looks back for Fletcher. And now is Edwards. And Dowse loses the ball there needlessly to Tyrone Hall. Dunn again, been amazing on the ball, this young man, but his final ball that time not good enough to find Heron. But I have to say, this young man, Sean Dunn, on the ball has been spectacular. His ability to beat his man as well as win the ball back has been expertly, skillfully displayed at times throughout the course of this game. McKnight trying to win the ball off Beckford here, but Beckford retains possession, shielding the ball pretty well. Good turn from Power. Edwards back to Singh. And Jacob Brown just commanding his back line, urging his defenders to move up. There's Bethune. Into the feet of Fletcher. And Larman didn't see who he was passing to at that minute, but did eventually get through to Gutsmore, but that's cleared by Anderson. And here's Harborview deep into enemy territory, trying to see if they can draw first blood. Harvey, Fletcher, with McKnight in his back, decides to turn back and find Bethune. Has Singh, but opts not to use him given the danger looming that is Rayner. And Fletcher, Larman, trying to thread the needle there. And Beckford's upset at the referee, who seems to have blocked his potential pass there. And of course, this will be the ball given back to Harborview. Larman perhaps seeking to be a bit cheeky from here. Yes, and he does, trying to find Fletcher, but unfortunately couldn't there, and that will be a goal kick. Cleared towards Angel. Singh was retreating, and Harvey will flick that away for a corner kick to Portmore United. As Tareen Hall goes across to collect. Of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the MG Sports channel, and comment in the comment section and the live chat for your players to watch in this Elite Cup this year, what your predictions are for who you think will win, as well as your favorite moments that you witnessed from last year. Of course, the interactions do help the channel, and they're much needed. Cross comes in, couldn't find Anderson, couldn't get it under control. Slips, but finds some space. Tried to beat Malik Wright, but instead won a corner. Was under some pressure there, made a smart decision, and eventually it's paid off. Actually, it seems as though Anderson's about to take this. Oh, seemed it was going to curl in for a minute there at the near post, but nevertheless, folks, not the best of first halves in this match day 2 encounter between Harborview and Portmore United in this under 18 competition, the KFC Elite League. Not after the best of starts, still 0-0, and chances have been far and few between both of these teams, and I must say, let's hope it picks up in the second half, folks. But I've been your commentator, John Stewart, and we'll be back after the break.
Overget it. Ah, touch it. Ah, yeah, I touch it. You're more can't find this. You may have hours, you know. See, delete everything. I like the picture. Me, you don't get none, you don't get none. Joe, I got it. I got it. You're more can't find this. You may have hours, you know. See, delete everything. I like the picture.
all the while, you can't even find nothing to do.
When you see it, just like you have to take him on and more energy.
Welcome back, folks, to coverage of the KFC Under 18 Elite League. The second half between Harbour and Portmore United is underway here. Of course, the score remains 0-0. It's a pretty drab first half, with chances being far and few between both teams. Of course, a wonderful effort from Stephen John Beckford forced a miraculous save out of Sheldon York early on, but aside of that, not many clear-cut chances to speak of. But of course, with the firepower on show today, that could change in an instant. There's Larman trying to head it out onto Malik Wright, who's playing out wide in place of Renard Garrison, who was substituted due to an injury in the first half. Lewis trying to find Arena. Of course, he was never going to beat Edwards there, who is almost unbeatable in 1v1 situations. And that's booted clear. And Lewis, the shouts of agony there. You can hear it from here, and that will be a foul. A free kick in a dangerous position for Portmore United. And it seems Terrain Hall will be going over to take this one. And Jaquan Brown makes his way into the box. The young man has led valiantly at the back in terms of his leadership and being vocal with his teammates and demanding more from them, but they could do well with a goal from him here, considering their struggles up front so far. Hall whips this in. Not a bad delivery at all towards the back post, but however that's cleared now into the path of Fletcher. Gets past Anderson, leaves him in his wake. Fletcher slows down, finds Larman in the middle of the park. Looking out wide, trying to switch the play for Gutsmore, but unable to find him. Trying to find Malik right out wide, but now here's Hall. Regaining position. Has time and space on that left-hand side. Finds Rayner inside, but is pickpocketed there by Beckford. Oh, lovely turn there by Edwards to beat his man. Gets rid of Rayner there, sent him to the moon there. That will be a throw-in after that clearance. Edwards showing a little smile there, a little smirk. He knows what he did. You know, he's well aware of his ability, and so too is this young man, Malik Wright. Got past Prince Louis there, showing a turn of pace, but fouled before he could do further damage, and that will be a yellow card to Prince Louis, and a free kick in a dangerous area. Peyton Larmond has a chance to affect the game now with his own set piece. Just Portmore United's coach is just shouting some instructions to the back line. We'll see if it makes a difference, however, as this free kick is about to come in from Larman. Comes in towards the near post. No one in particular, but cleared only as far as Beckford. Took a while to get under that one. Not Beckford, it was Bethune rather. And now here's Larman, turns, trying to get away from Dunn. No one's been able to do that so far in this game. There's Power. Right, back to Power. Trying to find Edwards, but that's blocked. Lovely pass to Lewis. He has Rain out wide, but instead tries to find Angel. Pass too high for him. And we'll see if he can retrieve it. He's unable to, and that will be a goal kick to Harbour View. Actually, really good pass there. Good effort from Lewis, but Angel wasn't able to really track the flight of the ball there. And unfortunately, it's gone out for a corner kick. And Jian Singh, I must say, when I saw him last year, I was a bit surprised when he came in, filled in 1 or 2 games for Daquan Jemison because of an injury, and I was really astounded by how well he played in those games. Not because I doubted his ability, but I feared for him in terms of his size. Of course, you generally want a goalkeeper that's a bit taller and a bit more stout, able to withstand everything that's going to go on in the box and be a bit more commanding around the back. But Singh has played pretty well despite his slender frame and short stature. Whenever I've seen him play, and he's done well so far today. Not really had to make a save, but whenever he's been called upon, he's done the job. Seems Portmore United will have a chance to test him here from this free kick. Of course, not directly from goal, but nonetheless. We'll try a scorpion kick there, but right, unable to beat his man there, and Portmore United win the ball back. But unfortunately, that pass that was directed towards Heron was deflected, and Portmore United, after the clearance from Harbour View, regained possession with Aaron McKnight trying to get past Wright, who spins into trouble. Now here's Lewis. Hall just urging for calm on the ball from his teammates. York gets it out wide to Brown. Brown looking long for Lewis, who the referee says has handled the ball. Oh, my apologies. Offside from the linesman. Power. Slip from Lewis has allowed Wright to get the ball, and here's Larman, lovely one-touch pass. Wright trying to find Gutsmore, but it's back to Larman, who skips away from Dunn. But pass, despite looking like he wasn't going to find his man, eventually did. And now it's Fletcher cuts in, lovely skill there. And the pass on the turn kind of took the power out of it, and York able to deal with it well. But another example of KJ Fletcher's skill there on the ball, beating defenders with ease. Oh, lovely skill by Dowse there to beat his man, but he's won the ball back here, but referee says he's done it unfairly, and that will be a free kick to Portmore United. Trying to find Anthony Heron, but Jian Singh again doing his job there admirably. The short young custodian rolls it into the path of Edwards. Bethune. Edwards again to Beckford. And I think it's moments like these where you see Beckford come and collect the ball, and he's not marked by anyone. That has been the difference between the two teams on the day, in my opinion. Of course, they're not separated on the scoreline, but in terms of who's played better, I'd wager it's been Harbourview, and for reasons like that, their midfield's a bit more functional. The midfielders for Portmore United, outside of Sean Dunn, really haven't really, in my opinion, grasped the fundamentals of the position yet. But here's, speaking of Dunn, here he is trying to find Anthony Heron, but pass had little to no accuracy on that, and they'll be retrieved. But Portmore United retrieve it themselves. Now it's Heron spinning, trying to beat Beckford. And McKnight wins a throw off of power, and that will be a throw into Portmore United. Lewis to Heron, back to Lewis. Cross comes in, and Singh wasn't able to get his both hands on that, but to Lewis. Won't matter too much. Cross comes in. He's blown his whistle, and the ball will go the other way. And just going back to what I was saying earlier, the fundamentals of the position haven't really been grasped as yet, I can tell, by the Portmore United midfielders. Whenever they get to a chance to try to collect the ball, they are swarmed instantly by those yellow and blue jerseys, and that for me speaks to multiple things. One, their press is probably not as great as Harbourview's, but also I have to say it just speaks to the level of ability and in-game intelligence from Harbourview's midfielders. They scan the field better, know how to shield the ball better, and they receive it in space because their positional play is just exponentially better than that of the midfielders of Portmore United. That's why they're able to formulate attacks. But lovely skill there by Heron. Almost dragged the entire shirt off of Larmond, who calmly just processed that and moved on. Good discipline from the young man there. Ball goes out wide to KJ Fletcher. Goal scorer from last week against Montego United is Johnny Harvey. Bethune. A lovely footwork there to beat his man. And Edwards skips past him as well. Trying to find Beckford, Gutsmore rather, but couldn't sort his feet out in time, and that will be a throw-in to Portmore United. Lewis looking downfield, trying to find his man there. Rayner, can he get to it in time? No, he can't. Singh does instead, and of course the lineman on hand as usual to raise his flag in time, and that will be a offside decision. And United win it back quickly here, and Heron wanted to play advantage, but the referee blows his whistle, and that will be a free kick to Portmore United. Brown. McKnight back to Brown. Brown has options, but instead looks for the long pass to Prince, and Lewis eventually wins the ball back. Cross comes in, and an acrobatic effort there. Wonderful work ethic by Prince to win the ball back. and whip that cross in towards Orlando Angel, who, as we know, has that knack of scoring goals from midfield. Got his boot to that, but unable to direct that volley goalward, and that flew over. Goal kick to Harbourview. Dose. Edwards. Striding forward from the defense. Oh, lovely turn from the young man. Amazing on the ball for a defender. Here's Larmond. Lovely ball through to Malik Wright, and Jaquan Brown expertly shielding that and preventing Malik Wright from doing any damage, and that will be a goal kick. And it seems as though Clyde Giardini, the coach of Harbourview, is going to be summoning one or two of his players here to come onto the pitch. Seems as though it's Shannon Power, the right back, who's gone to ground and will be replaced by the number 5, and that will be Gianni Collins. Of course, Kelvin Brown is another of the players who played last year and was pretty exceptional in the games that he played. Scored about 3 or 4 goals and was a man amongst boys, really, because of his size and power and knack of scoring in important games for Harbourview. Big reason as to why they got all the way to the final, especially towards the end of the season when starman Tyreek Robinson, the way they fell off of form. I have to say, he stepped up in his absence. Well, not absence of in terms of actually being on the field, but absence in terms of form. And there the substitutions made official, and Collins comes onto the field for Power. Johnny Collins was actually a regular last year, but it seems he's been displaced. Larman, oh, lovely ability there to beat his man. Beating Edwards, toying with his defenders. He's had the beating now of Edwards and Dunn quite a number of times in this second half. Just looking to establish his presence in this game. Fletcher, Beckford rather. Oh, good turn to beat his man. Trying to get past Dunn. Still retains possession. Turns Fletcher. Trying to find Larman. Unable to find him. And trying to pin that into the path of Fletcher, but that will be a throw-in to Portmore United. Just about half an hour gone in this one, and I must say, despite the 1 or 2 few quality chances in this one, it's not been the best of games. Not really having the entertainment value that we've come to know and love from this competition. We're giving it is the first game of the day. It's in boiling hot sun here in St. Anne at the Mount Pleasant Academy. Somewhat understandable. I must say, however, it's a lovely field. Watered well. Grass is cut to a great level. This is a field worthy of being played upon, perhaps by the Jamaican Premier League outfit, the senior team. But of course, they have their own. Larman heads that on, trying to find Fletcher, who expresses his frustration there. That will be a throw-in to Portmore United.
Pepe.
Good turn there.
Look at it.
Lewis. Cross is blocked there, and that's retrieved by Malik Wright. Trying to back heel it for Johnny Collins, eventually does, and Collins finds Edwards. The return pass from Edwards, trying to find Malik Wright, who skips past his man there. Oh, lovely pass into the path of Gutsmore from Beckford, but referee and linesman in disagreements there, and that will, of course, be offside decision. And it is Johnny French, who did start last week, I believe. He's going to be coming on for Asani Gutsmore. And it's been a change, in my opinion, has been needed to be made for quite some time, really. Gutsmore has been great in his effort and his energy, but not supplying the sort of runs that would really trouble Portmore United. And of course, with Dose and Beckford's technical ability on the ball, especially their long passes and just passes in general that can break the lines, they need someone with the intelligence in terms of when and how to run in behind to really feast on those chances that they're so able to create at will. And they'll be hoping that French could be the man to get them that all-elusive goal that they've been searching for so far. Both teams taking just a short water break, and seems that Portmore United may also make a couple of substitutions of their own. Seems that Tajay Gordon will be making his way onto the pitch. And there could also be an appearance here for their number 12, Nigel Lyons, who will be making his debut in this competition. Didn't play last week. He'll be hoping to make some sort of an impact. Coach Giardini just lamenting at times the lack of depth that he has available, lack of goals that he has available up front, and of course, as we've mentioned, quite a number of occasions, a large portion of that is down to the absence of a man like Tyreek Robinson, who last season, for a large part of the season, in my opinion, was the standout player in the league, in the tournament, up until the last 3 or so weeks of the league portion of the season. Was absolute magic up front for Harbourview, scoring some of the most amazing goals you'll see at this level. But here's Harbourview trying to come clear. They eventually find their man up front there, French, but he loses the ball. Fletcher trying to regain it, but that will go out for a throw to Portmore United. Which Shane Edwards will go over to take. But just speaking back to Harbourview, they of course didn't miss Robinson that much in the last game. They won 2-0 against Montego United, but it's very evident here today that they still are not currently possessing an out-and-out goal threat. But here goes Tajay Gordon, a number 9, player that Portmore United will be hoping has that sort of a goal threat. He'll be making his way onto the pitch, and Aaron McKnight will be substituted by Nigel Lyons. Here's Gordon down that right-hand side, trying to beat Bethune, unable to, but he does win a corner kick, and his first action of the game was a meaningful one, and he wins a corner for his team, which could lead to a goal here.
Big boss. Yeah, go ahead, big boss. Next match.
corner to be taken here by Portmore United. Ball comes in, lovely delivery, and that actually goes over the bar. I thought for a second there it might creep in beyond Singh due to his height, but never troubling the goalkeeper, and that will be a goal kick to Portmore United. Portmore United instituting a high press of their own, adopting the approach from Harbour View. Displayed that for much of the first half. And smartly, Harbour View opting to just go along here. Edwards pitching that downfield, looking for Larman. Unable to find him, but now here's Jaquan Brown. To Sean Dunn, who flicks it on to Tareen Hill. Lovely turn there. Looking out wide. Finds Heron. Has the overlap of Lewis. And across. Trying to get into the path of Gordon, but that's blocked by Collins. And it seems it's going to be a goal kick. A corner kick, rather. Coach just lamenting the quality of the cross there, but I thought given the circumstances he did well. It's a throw-in rather, my bad. Gordon turns. Trying to find Hall, unfortunately unable to find him, and Dowse skips away from Angel, who's hacked him down, and the referee, no choice but to give Orlando Angel a yellow card there, and a free kick in the middle of the park to Harbour View. Beckford, perhaps wisely, leaves that for Edwards. Just about 69 minutes gone, about 20 or so to go. Edwards looking along for Fletcher, who heads it on, but couldn't direct it toward the path of their number 9 French there, and that will be a goal kick. And we can just see the Kingston Football Academy players making their way out onto the sidelines. And of course, that's just a reminder of the fact that they'll be playing in the next game between them and Montego Bay United. But here's Tareen Hall in the attack for Portmore United. He has several players to his left. Finally finds one. That's Prince Lewis. Can he get a good cross in this time? First time cross. Finds Gordon. Spins. Turns in the box. Unable to find some space, and Malik Wright eventually doing well to get the ball clear, but there's Angel. Finds Hall. And a shot there from Heron that's blocked. And Hall still down. But there's Angel, who will be aggrieved to find that. It will actually go out for a corner kick, but Hall still in some pain on the ground there. He's back to his feet, but still hobbling in discomfort, and that will be a corner kick to Portmore United. Just a reminder for those who are unaware, 3 players from Kingston Football Academy played in that under-17 competition for Jamaica, the qualification campaign to get themselves to the World Cup. That was successful. Romeo Henry, Jamone Lyle, and Jadine Morgan, the captain from last year in the Elite Cup. There's Angel, spinning, turning, and runs into pressure eventually, much to the dismay of his coach. Larman under pressure gets the ball out to right into the path of Larman, and he can try to take it around Brown, but unsuccessfully, and that will be a throw-in to Harbour View. Now here's Larman to Malik Wright, trying to, oh, that's a terrible first touch there by French. If he had controlled that, he'd be through on goal, and that could have been the first goal of the game, but wasn't to be. Clyde Giardini got excited there Even in his old age, his passion is quite evident. Cross comes in, but no one was there to really capitalize on that. And ball was tricky to judge there, but Tristan Bethune fortunately had the ball land his way, and now here's Dowse. His first touch takes him away from Hall. And gets rid of the ball to Beckford. Bethune. Back all the way to Singh, but it wasn't a great pass, and Portmore United almost capitalizing. Edwards gets that, eventually cleans up and finds Bethune, who looks long now, aiming towards French. Has Anderson with him, and not able to trap it, and that will be a throw-in to Portmore United. Beckford skipping around the other opposing number 10. Here's Fletcher. Did well there to get past two defenders, but hacked down in a dangerous area, and could see a set piece shot out goal here. You have a number of players who are experts in shooting not just from distance but from dead ball situations. We know Zaire Dowse is an expert at them. Peyton Larman as well has the ability. This may be too far to think about for Larman, who's seeming like he's the one that's going to be taking this, but nevertheless, you wouldn't bet against him with his quality. Of course, as we mentioned before, he's a Jamaican Premier League fixture he's a regular for the Harbour senior team now, in terms of coming off the bench, being in the squad. Important minutes in the first team for the young man. He'll be hoping to lead by example here and somehow impact this game with perhaps an assist of this range. But they'll need a good delivery into the box, especially that young man, Joel Ajani French, will be hoping for one here to open his account on the season. Larman delivers, good delivery as well, but headed away by Brown. Edwards never got up for it really, and that's headed in again. Portmore United now have a chance to counter-attack. Lovely pass out wide to Shane Edwards. He has several players with him, including Tareen Hall, who decides to use. And it seems him and Dunn got in each other's way there. Edwards trying for the return pass for Dunn, and that will go out for a goal kick to Harbourview. Just about 15 minutes of regular time in this game to go, and I have to say, it's been really petered out here in the second half. First half wasn't great, but at least there were a couple of clear-cut chances, but two teams have really struggled in the final third. But here's Kajay Fletcher, operating rather deep. Perhaps sees the need to just get on the ball to inject some sort of creativity into the team. And he loses the ball actually here to Tareen Hall. Has several players with him, including Heron. Kind of a shot on goal, but for some reason, inexplicably decides to take a touch there instead of just striking it first time, and loses it. Good defending there, and Jaquan Brown headed it dangerously, I might add, to his goalkeeper York, but got away with it there. He's done. White to Anderson. York. And again, this is, for me, the problem with Portmore United. None of their midfielders are free at the moment. They're just all hiding behind the defenders and just opting to go long. And Stevie Wonder could have seen where that was going. He could have it doesn't take Nostradamus to tell you that if your midfielders aren't available, the next option will be inevitably to go long. And I just think that eventually they're going to have to figure out that if you want to build up from the back, your midfielders have to be able to grasp positional play and spatial awareness. It's going to have to become something that is preached right throughout training sessions to, hey, as midfielders, you need to make yourself available for the ball in between the lines. Present yourselves in space as an outlet to relieve pressure for your defense. Because what's going to happen is just this. It's going to keep happening over and over again when they lose the ball and give a chance to Harbour View to attack. And there, number 17, Asani Gutsmore, making his way onto the pitch. Dangerous player from last year as well. He was trying to produce some moments of magic, unable to there at that occasion. Collins trying to get it downfield towards Malik Wright, but that's cleared. Norman heads it up to Beckford. Now it's Sean Dunn.
I go back to Yafa. I found one goal. Look,
turn away from Gordon.
Don't fall him, man.
Good turn there by the number 9 French. Lovely turn again. And he tries to find his man out wide. I believe that's Byfield, but that will be a goal kick.
Yeah, change the referee.
And Portmore United will be making a change. Number 11, it seems Delano Campbell will be coming on. Just about 10 minutes to go. He'll be hoping to see if he can have enough time to make an impact. And Collins clears that outfield though. Outlet for Portmore United this game predominantly has been those overlapping runs of Prince Louis, but the final ball hasn't always been perfect from the young man. And finally, Anthony Heron is substituted by the young man that was waiting a long time, and Lewis again. Final delivery, not the greatest. And now here's Dunn. Spins again, turns away from Sonny Gutsmore, but loses the ball eventually. And Gutsmore's touch, not the greatest, and he loses that throw into Portmore United, who take quickly but lose possession there. Jacon Brown finds Dunn again. Looking for his number 9 Gordon, but loses the aerial duel with Bethune. But here's Orlando Angel. Finds his man out wide. Lions cuts inside. Distance shot, but that's wide. But he did have a go there, and you can't fault him for that. It's been a game of very few chances, so I suppose nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah. 2 defending now, man. 30 must pick up somebody, man. And then go long, man.
Dunn trying to find Lions out wide, and he does eventually. Can he keep it in play? No, he can't. And Bethune will shield that out for a goal kick wisely to Harbour View. And seeing just in a little altercation there with Malik Wright, I believe, instructing him on the type of passes he wants him to make. Jasheen Edwards clears that downfield. Looking towards right, but that's headed away by Brown. Larman heads that towards the number 16, who came on a while ago. I thought it was Byfield, but my apologies, that was not. And that's Tristan Riley, lanky young winger. Looking looking for a foul there, right? But the referee says play on. Gianni Collins cuts that one out in Beckford. Lovely turn. Right. Good return pass. Well, I thought it was. And he's pulled him back there, Beckford, and that will be a yellow card. Tactical foul. Fernandinho-esque foul there. Gordon miscontrolled it. Almost ended up being a good pass for his teammate, but handled the ball there, Portmore United player, and that will be free kick to Harbour View. That's the most humorous thing I've seen in the entire game there from Beckford. Just smartly pulling him down there, flung him to the ground really. Was determined not to let him go. Riley. Edwards. Looking long, trying to find French, but just a bit too much on it, and that will be a throw in to Portmore United. About 7 minutes to go. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to MG Sports TV, and for just joining us, this is match day 2 of the 2026 edition of the KFC Under-18 Elite Cup. First game, of course, is between Portmore United against Harbour View, but in the second one coming up for you, we do have Montego Bay United taking on Kingston Football Academy. Promises to be a great clash. Had some really good games between those two teams last year. Of course, going into it, Kingston Football Academy will be seen as favourites, given they did make it all the way to the semi-finals last year and I believe finished third in the table in the league portion, whereas Montego Bay United finished last. And while Montego Bay United have put up some valiant efforts over the course of last season and in this first game of this year, that perhaps warranted more than the amount of points they got, it still must be said, it's a results business, and they will be deservedly so seen as favourites in that one. And of course, as mentioned before, there should be a return, hopefully, to the lineup of players. Like, oh, there's a ball over the top here, and not able to be trapped well there by number 11 Campbell, and seems to be a corner. But speaking of the players for Kingston Football Academy, it should be a return to the lineup of Romeo Henry and Jadine Morgan. But here's Lewis trying to skip between a couple of players. Ball comes in and that's cleared. Shot from distance there from Dunn, but cleared. Right. Trying to produce a counter-attack now. Trying to find Right, but unable to. And it's cleared downfield, and Edwards will head that to Bethune. And Angel wins the ball. Finds Leons, well, tried to, but Jelani Harvey clears that. The referee looks the other way on that decision there. And now it's Tristan Riley has acres of space to run into, but instead cuts back. Tries to find Joel Johnny French, who sits down his man there, but the referee says that's a foul, much to the dismay of everyone involved in yellow and blue. I thought it was a great turn, really, to escape his defender, but seems that he pushed him unfairly on second look, Joel Johnny French, and that will be a foul to Portmore United.
Watch it, watch outside.
Watch out.
Poor first touch from Campbell, and they'll go all the way back to Portmore United's back line. Anderson trying to venture forward, but his poor first touch leaves him defensive. It's Joel Nefani French, and he scored! 4 minutes to go in this one, and Harbour View have taken the lead in the dying moments of the game. Joel Johnny French. I did say it was a welcome change from the services of their
Pass the ball, man. Just
previous
pass the
play
ball,
up
brother.
front in the
Pass the ball.
first half.
Yeah, defender, yeah. Pass the ball.
And no disrespect to him, but I figured that more or less French should have a more of an impact given he was a more senior player in the squad in the last season, and he's proved that there with his experience and his calm in front of goal. Wonderful finish. And that is 1-0 here. Harbour View take the lead. Poor touch there by Edwards. Almost cost him, but Larman clears.
Let's go, Asani. Let's go, inside. Inside, Asani.
And Portmore still trying to formulate an attack here. Gordon turns, twists, still retained position, but eventually lost it. It's done. Takes it around his man. Eventually lose it again. Right. Finds French, who's offside. Just needs to hold his run a bit there. And with 88 minutes gone, the referee has blown full time. And that will be that, folks. The first game of this one comes to a close. And Harbour View deserved winners in my opinion. They've won 1-0 here against Portmore United, who's succumbed to a second loss in 2 games. The newcomers, of course, to this competition, yet to register a win or even a point, but can be proud of themselves for not going down under in embarrassing fashion. But they must say they have a lot to work on in a lot of different aspects of their game, but especially the build-up play. Not just in terms of playing out from the back and making mistakes in defense, but once they actually get it to the midfield, how to actually get it to their forwards. Their lack of creativity has been agonizing, really. It's been really poor to watch at times. The lack of experience in that midfield. But they're young, they'll grow. And of course, that's what it's all about in this competition. At the end of the day, it's about development. For these youngsters, they'll learn. But for now, Harbour View, again, for the second time in 2 games, take all 3 points. Got off to a similar start last year, and they'll be hoping they can repeat their success of last year of making it to the finals. But this time, they'll aim to go one better. But for now, folks, that's it for us in this first game. Harbour View ran out 1-0 winners over Portmore United. Over to the second game between Montego Bay United and Kingston Football Academy.
Why am I going to do this the way you can? You can use the ball. Why you want to take back?
Let me sit next to you. Someone else wants to official right now.
You can do the same thing.
No come wide, man, advance. Give me back. Mr. Ref? Yeah, give me back. Mr. Ref? Who's match ball? Match ball? Yeah, come here.
Just start like a date.
What in all?
Walk on. There, man.
Yes.
Cool, huh?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, man. All right.
Yeah, later.
Yeah.
I see 7 right now. I look for the last red one. I don't know if it go down this one. Go out down the gossip. I don't know if referee did take up one. Check if referee did go with one. I want to go down this one.